welcome everyone to TJ and the Grumpy Old Man, the all sports podcast that takes place every single Sunday between 7 and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to give us a little bit of leeway room in case one of us runs a little late. I'm your host here, TJ, and with me here, as always, is the Grumpy Old Man. They say there's no shame to his game because he's always the same.
That's me.
And with us also, we've got the magnificent Son X, the king of comments, a co-host here on the show with us today.
It's X time, baby. Let's get it.
It's X time. For those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. This is an all sports podcast. Again, as I mentioned, it takes place every single Sunday evening. And we talk anything and everything sports on this show. So we talk NFL, right? The NFL preseason just started this week. We're going to be talking about that, unpacking some of the things that we've seen here so far in what is always a shortened preseason, only 3 weeks of preseason in the NFL these days. We're going to be talking a little bit about the MLB, the AL, and NL MVP race. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be discussing as well. We've got some Olympic news to discuss that we'll be kind of taking a dive into as well, Grumpy Old Man. So if you're new to the channel and you like some of the content that we cover, you like some of the takes that we have, I encourage you to do a few things. I encourage you to subscribe on YouTube so you don't miss out on any of the future episodes that we release, and also to like the video. If you like the video, first off, it lets myself, Grumpy, and Senex know that you like the content that we produce, and also it helps the algorithm. It tickles the algo. It gets the podcast out to the masses. So make sure to do those two things if you like the show. I guess, the first thing we want to discuss and talk about here, which is kind of right, it's the Mac Daddy of all sports here in the United States. The NFL preseason has started up again, ladies and gents. This is the first week of the NFL preseason. I know they've got a game going on right now, Grump. And you were talking about Stetson Bennett just a few seconds ago, Grumpy, were you not?
Yeah, it was a really nice fest. I think he threw a boatload of interceptions today. But like I said, Stetson Bennett find ways to win at the end, and he did today. It was a really nice running across the field to the left-hand side, dropping down. He sees a guy flashing. Is this it right here? This is it. Just watch this. I mean, this is an awful nice throw. Give credit where credit's due.
Rolling out to the left. Bennett slings it back in the
That is nice.
That's a really tough throw to make. Guy flashing in the other direction, you're running up, and he drop it, sling it, sidearm, and cut it in there. Nice play.
He sucks. This kid sucks. Simple as that. Grumpy, you think he's going to be successful in the NFL?
I think that he'll be on an NFL roster. Absolutely. That's a nice play. I don't care what. He's a winner. He's a winner. He's a winner. He's what you want in a backup quarterback. He absolutely is.
Just, again,
that's a tough thing.
Okay.
What do you want to do?
How many picks did he throw again today? What were his numbers?
I don't know.
In the fourth quarter, you're playing against walk-ons from Mount St. Mary, third-string guys, fourth-string guys out there. I expect you to perform well against third and fourth-string guys. The majority of the guys who are playing in the fourth quarter on the last drive for both of these teams, right, we can admit, are probably not going to make the active roster, right, Grumpy? Most on this field won't make the active roster, right?
Yeah, I agree with that. But it still doesn't minimize that this kid just finds ways to win games, regardless of who because it's not like he was the first team offense out there either.
I get that.
I like I said, he will be in the league for a long time.
Oh my God. Look at this shit.
I'm not saying that he's, the second reincarnation of TB12. He's not even a poor man's Patrick Mahomes. But
he's going to be in the NFL for a long time.
Yeah, I think he's
be like a journeyman quarterback.
That's right. He'll start games if he has to. He can win games for you. I mean, he had the issue last year, I believe, with the alcohol problem that he had. Seems like that's all behind him now, hopefully, getting his life straightened out. That was just an awful nice play. I'm not even going to pretend that I watched the whole preseason game. I did not. Okay? All I know is I flicked it on at the end, and I'm like,
ooh, Stetson Bennett just made a nice pass. He's going to pan out in the NFL. Is that kind of what?
It was an awful nice throw. I don't think that you can say that it wasn't.
It was nice.
Okay, good throw, but he's throwing across his body, slinging his arm, hoping and praying that throwing crossbody.
Fourth down. Yeah,
I get it. just because you happen to evade the pocket again against four-string guys and just loft it into the end zone crossbody and hits a guy. I don't know. I'm chalking that more up to dumb luck than fantastic play by Stetson Bennett.
You don't want to know who else looked really good today? Bo Nix.
Another guy who played, what was it, kind of the second and the third quarter or whatever. He played well. Let's jump into that. Let's jump into, I guess, some of the. There's a lot of rookie quarterbacks this year, right? That are going to be that were drafted. Some a lot others. Let's go ahead and get a little update as to how they all played and performed today, just so we're able to come side by side. Caleb Williams. He went 4 for 7 with 95 yards, 0 touchdown. Jaden Daniels here, 2 for 3, 45 yards and a touchdown. Drake May, 2 for 3, 19 yards and 0 touchdowns. Michael Penix, 9 for 16, 104 yards, 0 touchdowns. JJ McCarthy, 11 for 17, 188 yards. He did have 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. They did not include that there. Bo Nix, 15 for 21, 125 yards and a touchdown. Again, obviously this individual is a Broncos fan, but Bo Nix did play well today. But it's preseason.
Bo Nix is also he's much further along. I mean, he's he's 24, 25 years old, whatever he is. But you know what? You can't minimize it. He was pretty good at Auburn, and he was even better at Oregon. I think he was drafted way too high, but you know what? If it works out for them, it doesn't matter where you're drafted. It's how you play on Sundays.
Yeah, now he's 24 years old. Okay. So yeah, he's a little bit up there, right? Just make sure we're getting comments there. Start up. Don't care who they're from. We want to make sure we got the topics that we're talking about today. But I'll say this. He played well, but he's a guy, I think Bo Nix has a much higher chance and likelihood to be a long-term NFLer than Stetson Bennett.
Okay. Your draft stock would tell you that Stetson Bennett was a walk-on, was he not? He was
He was not. I think he was drafted. He wasn't an unrestricted free agent. They're not walk-ons, but he wasn't an unrestricted free agent. I think he was drafted.
He wasn't drafted in the first round. That much I can damn well tell you.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that Stetson Bennett is the second coming.
You just said he's going to play in the NFL for a long time. I just think that's stupid.
I think he will have a job in the NFL for a long time, even if it's just as backup. He absolutely will.
He won't. He sucks.
Okay. He sucks.
He was drafted by the Giants, no longer with the Giants. Now he's with the Rams, right? Remember, he was he released midseason? He was drafted 4th round by the Giants.
The Giants did not draft him. He was picked.
Yes, they did. I just looked it up. At 128, he was selected by the New York Giants. I'll pull it up for you again if you want.
Stetson Bennett, I don't believe, was drafted by the Giants. He was drafted by the Rams.
God. Oh, my God. I'm sorry. That's right. He was drafted by the Rams. It was a pick that the Giants traded away. My mistake. So he was drafted by the Rams, 4th round pick, 128th overall. My mistake. But this is a trade that the Rams made with the Giants. So they used the Giants selection to get Stetson Bennett. So my mistake.
You know what I like, X? How he was jumping down my throat, practically calling me a moron. When my mistake. We'll just gloss over that.
He always does.
Is there a reason why you doubt the master? When the master tells you something,
the master just told me that Stetson Bennett was a walk-on in the NFL. It makes it a college and NFL.
I said I don't know if he was a walk-on or not. He was certainly not a first-round pick, is what I said.
Undrafted is what they're called. But, yeah, he was drafted 4th round. So, yeah, I knew he was drafted. I just couldn't remember where.
And he was a walk-on at Georgia, was he not?
He was a walk-on, then went to community college, then came back as a scholarship athlete, I believe.
Okay.
So, originally when he joined, he was a walk-on. Then he came back as a scholarship athlete.
Like I said, I think that he is going to be a backup. And he can win games for you. I don't think he's, like I said, again, I'm not saying Stetson Bennett is leading you to a Super Bowl, but the kid's been a winner wherever he's played, and I'm not surprised he threw that touchdown pass today. I'm just not. If you remember, I was not high on him, but he just finds ways to win. I told you, and I watched him at the Combine, and what did I say? He's going to get drafted. Absolutely, he's going to get drafted.
He sucks. He still sucks, and he always will suck.
Okay.
Now, something that's being brought up a lot is Drake May and Joe Milton, right? The Patriots select, two quarterbacks this year in the draft, and they're doing the comparison. Oh, who's going to be the quarterback? Is it going to be Drake May? What was he? The second or the third overall pick? High up there, right?
Third overall
pick overall.
Overall pick, and is Joe Milton? Is Joe Milton looking better than him? Oh no, Joe Milton was a later selection in this year's draft, but I'm left scratching my head. Anybody who's come away thinking, oh, Joe Milton, oh yeah, he's looking much better than Drake May. I'm like, you can't tell anything this early in preseason. It's that simple.
The Patriots suck.
That's true.
They were a really, really bad team. Joe Milton came on. I think he was the last series or two. I'm surprised they had Jacoby Myers play a series. They had Drake May play one series. He went 2 for 3 for 19 yards. I thought they should have played Drake May more myself. You know what you have in Jacoby Brissett. He's going to be the starter. But you want to get Drake May some reps. It's not going to be in the regular season. I thought it was picture perfect to play, the Carolina Panthers, who were the worst team in the league last year.
And they are the worst team again.
Well, we don't know. They didn't play any starters at all in this game. Not a one on either side of the ball. So that's pretty much a soft landing for Drake May, is it not? And then Joe Milton comes in at the end. I think he played the last one or two series, and he led them to a touchdown. And he can run, and he's got a cannon for an arm, but I don't think he reads the field very well. And that was the problem he had at Tennessee, and the same problem he's going to have in New England. He was 4 for 7. But you know what? He was drafted in the 6th round. There's no harm, no foul taking a flyer on a guy like that.
Yeah, I have no problem with them selecting him. What I have a problem is the idiots that are out there on social media and even portions of like the media, like, oh man, Joe Milton's having really good and successful practices. He's looking better than Drake May. I'm like, please stop. He's so strong. Look at how strong his arm is. Look at Drake May, and Joe Milton has such a stronger arm than Drake May. I'm like, there's a lot more to being a successful quarterback than having the strongest arm. Just ask Jamarcus Russell about, hey, is the strongest arm all you need to be a successful QB in the NFL?
The problem with Drake May is they've come in and they've had to change everything he's done with his footwork, with his reading plays, and they threw everything at him. And sometimes it's a little bit much. This last week is the first time that he's really flashed in camp, though. And he did flash a little bit in camp this year. That's what you want, is to see a progression from beginning of camp to the end. He's not going to start the season, but I'm going to just tell you, there's no way he should not play towards, week 9, 10, 11, like the Giants did with Eli Manning when he came in. They had Kurt Warner there. He played the first 9 weeks. Eli played the rest of the way. The Giants weren't a great team, and Eli was not as good as Kurt Warner, but you have to get the young guy ready.
We're going to have some Eli conversation. And you're right, especially the way the NFL is now. A lot of these quarterbacks, you pretty much, the way it's done is if the quarterback's halfway decent, you go ahead and max the team out as much as you can. You start adding assets, signing a whole bunch of free agents when your quarterback's on his rookie level deal. And then once he moves out, right, they increase what he's getting paid to $40 or $50 million a year, pretty much, depending on who the QB is.
You're seeing it. For me, used to be able to watch preseason games and get to see some starters play. Now the coaches have just said, forget it. We're not doing that at all. That's why, as we saw last year, football is really sloppy to start the year.
Yep.
The Arizona Cardinals say that Kyler Murray is not going to play at all in the preseason. Not at all. I don't see how. Maybe you get away with it with a Kyler Murray, but they're another team that's bad. They have some younger, they got Marvin Harrison Jr. on that team. They have other new wide receivers on that team. You would think that they'd want to get some game time action. I don't understand what the coaching staff is talking about.
You're just asking for another Kyler Murray injury.
But you look at the Patriots in particular, you got a new offensive coordinator, new quarterback coach, new head coach, first time for all these guys in these type of positions. And it's like, do they really know what they're doing and how to handle a quarterback? I don't know. We're going to find out, but Jacoby Brissett is going to be the starter on day one. And maybe he's looked okay, in training camp so far. But Jacoby Brissett is not blowing up anybody's skirt at this age.
No, I mean, he's just a guy that allows you to say, okay, Drake, we want you to feel confident. We want you to feel comfortable when you finally enter into the scene. And, we want you to have a mastery of the playbook so it doesn't destroy your confidence in year one where you're like, oh, shit, I'm not sure if I can do this anymore. But this is the play here by Joe Milton that I'm assuming that we want to go ahead and look at here. Right, Grumpy?
Yeah, one quick second. Another thing is Jacoby Brissett is a really good teammate. He always has been. He's a rah-rah guy. That's what a bad team needs, guys like that. And he's a guy who could stay there like a Stetson Bennett type. He could play for New England, honestly, for another 3-4 years as a backup.
Yep.
Because just of his personality.
He's like a locker room guy.
He's a great locker room guy. He knows what his role is. Bailey Zappi, who's also a quarterback name, and he played an ungodly amount of time in the first preseason game. He played the vast majority of the preseason game, and he's a guy who thinks he's a starter. Jacoby Brissett knows he's just a starter adjacent right now until the other guy gets ready.
He's a stopgap guy.
And he knows, but he knows like Brian Hoyer, like the guy who used to play for Kansas City, and Chad Hemme. These guys know at the end of their career, okay, they're just there to fill in at the end if some, break glass in case of fire. And that's Jacoby Brissett. He'll get his starting role this year to start the season, but it would not surprise me at all by week 9 or 10, Drake May has to play. You're not going to sit him out a whole year.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and take a look here. This is what I wanted to show you. This is the Milton clip that people are oogling over online. Let's just take a look here. Again, against the Panthers, no starters on the field really for the Panthers. And I assume out of this lineup and assortment of players for the Patriots, there's no starters on the field right now either. But let's take a look.
Plays that I've hit. Look out. Get out of here. Fans love it. They love it. There it goes. Plays that I've hit.
Oh, man, look at how great he is at extending the play. I'm going to let you know something. Against starters, he's getting fucking killed in the backfield. This is not college. Like,
Yeah.
As you start to play better competition, maybe you make the first guy miss. You're not having guys like this. Okay, if this is TJ Watt barreling down over here, you think he's missing a tackle like this and a sack? It's just like Myles Garrett in pursuit. You think he's getting evaded like that? No. I mean, again,
not every team has a JJ Watt, a TJ Watt, or a Myles Garrett, though.
Okay,
That's true.
There are a lot of very good defensive players that he's going to be in a scenario playing against. It's just like you're playing against shitty players. You're extending the play against bad teams. I'm like, please put everything in check. And that's the thing I hate about preseason, where it's like, oh, man, look at this. Oh, man. And like, again, they're just, wow, look at this. This is so fantastic. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like,
Guy's wide open. He threw the ball behind him.
Yes. That's what I'm like, okay, let's look at the pocket. Okay. How often in the NFL do you have a perfect pocket? You've got a guy who's got 5 yards.
Okay.
5 yards of clearance, right? 5 yards of separation, and he throws it behind the receiver who's got to turn his shoulders and turn to catch the ball. In a real game scenario, if you got a better player, that's interception. So I'm like, okay, we're using this as a highlight. And I think he just,
his footwork on that play was horrendous.
Oh,
Milton. If you watch it, just look at him. It's like, I mean, you can tell he's got a strong arm because it's all arm here. If you watch, it's like all arm. He doesn't step in to throw.
Yeah,
I mean, that's terrible footwork.
It's terrible. Get set just I'm rifling that thing. But people on social media are loving this, Grump. They're loving his play. Oh, this is so fantastic.
In preseason, everybody loves the fourth string quarterback,
right?
Because they're playing against other fourth string or third stringers, and that's just kind of what you get. I mean, I'm not. He's fourth on that team on the depth chart. He is. I think they'll probably keep him. They want Drake May to be the backup. That's what they want this year, and I think they want Milton on the practice squad. I don't think they're going to keep Zappi. Again, Zappi's had a pissy attitude. He thinks he should be starter.
See you later. I mean, like you need guys that are all pulling in the right direction. You need all sails and the wind blowing in the same spot. you're a team that has been awful. You have a first-time head coach here. You have to have everything that can go right needs to go right for the Patriots. Otherwise, Gerard Mayo is going to have a short stint for the Patriots.
I think he's going to have a short stint anyway.
I do too.
They had issues with Matt Judon, who wants his contract renegotiated again. He did it last year. They want to take in all of his money from this year, giving it to him last year. So he's only making $6 million this year, only making $6 million. And he comes out to practice and winds up sitting on a blocking dummy and not partaking, not sitting in with the team. The coach had to go over there. He sends him off the field, and he starts complaining. Oh, they need to re-sign me. They're re-signing everybody. The biggest problem I have with the Patriots this year is they've re-signed 12 guys to this current roster to long-term deals. They're a shitty team. It tells me you must think Bill Belichick was the whole problem with that team. That is not the case.
I think that's a good segue right into the next portion. You look at all of these players that want to be re-signed or have been re-signed by the Patriots. Now, there's a lot of players that want to currently be re-signed by the Cowboys. One of those, I'd say, is a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL, CeeDee Lamb. And now, again, the Cowboys been a much better team as of recent in the regular season than the Patriots, but the Cowboys have only won one postseason game in the last 20 years.
30 something years.
30 years. I'm sorry. I'm giving them too much benefit of the doubt. But yes, they've only won one postseason game in the last 3 decades. And this is a team that all these players we're entitled. We need to be getting this and this money and that money. In the end, there's no results in the playoffs. That's an issue. But, this is one, right? Interviewed Jerry Jones, who's the GM, right? Owner and GM of the Cowboys. He said regarding contract talks with CeeDee Lamb, he said, I don't have any urgency to get it done. And CeeDee Lamb says, LOL, he's upset. Oh, man.
You have Mr. Assault and Battery coming out and saying, oh, yeah, they play for America's team. These guys need to get paid. And I'm like, and that, by the way, Mr. Assault and Battery is Steve Smith.
I was about to ask, who's Mr. Salt and Battery? Okay.
So, and I'm like, dude, they've never won anything. It's real good. To me, what type of players you think should be able to demand that they make more money or get re-signed early? I would say guys from the Kansas City Chiefs, perhaps.
Sure. Guys on the 49ers, I'd be fine with that. Guys who have success in the regular season and then consistent success in the postseason. Those are the guys who can demand that because you've proven that, in my opinion, right? If Christian McCaffrey's hey, I've got 1 year left on my contract, I want to sign an extension, right? As much as I don't like signing running backs back to additional contracts, he's been fantastic for the 49ers and actually hasn't had injury problems, knock on wood, the last few years. So again, that's right. That's a guy who could be okay, gotcha. If I want to extend him, I'll extend him, right? And a guy like Brandon Ayuk, he wants his extension, but guess what? The 49ers are no, we don't think you're the guy who drives the offense. We're not willing to give you that right now. And he's a guy who's looking to move.
X, do you think that Ayuk is the number 1 wide receiver in San Francisco? Do you think he's even if I'm looking at the 49ers, who are my top playmakers? Can you name the top 4 or 5 playmakers?
Christian McCaffrey's number 1.
Christian McCaffrey's number 1.
George Kittle.
Okay.
Kittle's done.
I don't think he's done. They've asked him to do less because they have more weapons on the outside. He's more of a blocker now. But
Deebo Samuel and Ayuk, though.
I think Deebo Samuel's number 2. And I think it's a toss-up between Ayuk and Kittle. I do. I think Brandon Ayuk, and I know you like him, TJ. I think he's a little overrated. I don't think he's number 1 wide receiver on that team. And that's not it's not a team that runs through the wide receivers. It's about the short, it's the West Coast offense still. Get McCaffrey the ball in space, get Deebo the ball in space, short passes to Kittle, and that leaves Brandon Ayuk open. The Patriots offered him supposedly upwards over $30 million a year because he didn't want to go there. And it's I think he's going to have a hard time getting paid number 1 wide receiver money. I just don't think he's top 3 or 4 wide receivers in the game right now. I just don't.
Personally, I believe he's the better receiver out of him and Deebo. I do. Deebo's lack of performance last year bothers me. Deebo's got hurt. Okay. Remember They utilized Debo for a 2-year time period as a running back,
He
a
was never
slight and small wide receiver who was running the ball outside and sometimes in between the tackle on cutback lanes. He is not built to do that, and I wonder what sort of long-term effects it's going to have on his career.
He's not slight. He absolutely is not. He's 215 pounds. He's not slight.
He's slight.
He's like 6 foot 215. He's not slight.
He's
and here's the thing:
6 foot 215 is a waif.
They get him the ball in space. They get him on the jet sweeps. They do certain things. They don't do that with Ayuk.
Wafer thin, simple.
He's not wafer thin. He's certainly. I mean, if you actually look at his body, he absolutely is not. You're mistaken.
Wafer thin grump, and he was injured. Injuries.
Yeah, that's right. He was banged up last year. He absolutely was.
He's had injury issues before in the past. And
Who's a better football player? Who's a better football player?
I think Ayuk's the better receiver than Debo Samuel.
Who's a better football player?
Better football player. I still think Ayuk.
Oh,
I'd rather have a guy who I think Ayuk's the better receiver, and that's what I want my receiver to do. I don't need to have my receiver running out of the backfield. I've got Christian McCaffrey doing that. I need my receiver to create separation, to get open, catch the football, and create yak yards. That's what I need my receivers to do, and I think Ayuk is better at that currently at this point than Debo Samuel. I would rather have Brandon Ayuk. He's a younger model, and he's healthier than Debo Samuel. Unfortunately, right, they gave Debo Samuel a long-term contract, right?
Yeah, they did. I think Debo Samuel is easily the better football player.
You don't.
You can do way more with him than you can with Brandon Ayuk.
Disagree. That's fine. We'll agree to disagree. I've been a big Brandon Ayuk fan from the time period he was drafted. On draft night, I said, this is a guy who absolutely, he's the king of yak, was fantastic at Arizona State. And I was shocked he lasted as long as he did. And I thought that was a guy who teams should have targeted. And he absolutely has showed that, yeah, he has the ability to do it. And when he's given the opportunity to play like that, he's gonna perform.
I think that for myself, I think that if Ayuk goes to another team, you're going to see his performance drop. If he's the number one option on another team where he doesn't have, all those other weapons who get the ball more than he does, I think you're going to see him maybe get exposed a little bit.
I think that helps him get open on San Francisco is the fact that he's not the first guy that they're covering.
Even the second.
Yeah.
He's not.
Do you want to get some comments, TJ?
Yes, let's start jumping. Really quickly. Before we jump into comments, I do want to play really quickly the response that that Jerry Jones had. He did come out and speak after he said that, right? Like CeeDee Lamb obviously saying LOL. That sent worries across all the Cowboys nation, the fans. Then Jerry Jones did go ahead and speak a little bit about that.
I think I got in trouble the other day when I said, look, we're not urgent about CD. Well, no one appreciates CD being on the field any more than I do. But let me say this, he wouldn't be taking a snap out here today if he'd been here for you got to use your head when you expose key players. That gives the other younger players a chance to do it. We know exactly what CD can do, and he worked out with Dak. And so we wouldn't have him out here. It has really not anything to do with his contract. Dak won't be out here this afternoon. And so the bottom line is, what it is no, there's not that urgency. Now, I understand completely the angst that's happening when you are anxious about and someone says anything about whether you're missed or not. Well, CD, you're missed, okay? But you're not missed out here competing, and it doesn't put any pressure any place on us. It's not pressure out here today and in practice.
Obviously, Jerry Jones doing some heavy backtracking after that was not perceived well.
They have a lot of guys who are in their walk year who make a whole lot of money. Dak Prescott, Zach Martin, CeeDee Lamb. They put Zeke in there and one other player. Oh, Dexter Lawrence. They all want to get paid big money. To me, you got to win something. That's why I thought they should have got a new coach in this year as opposed to Mike McCarthy. I don't think he's a winning coach. And put somebody in there, maybe even a Belichick type would have been good for them.
When do you think Jerry Jones is going to release the reins?
I don't know. He's OAF right now. So for me,
all of his F.
Yeah. For me, it's like he needs to he's in his 80s.
Yeah.
He's absolutely in his 80s. And like I said, we know other teams who have guys who run the team who are in their 80s. It usually doesn't work out well.
That's right. All right, X. What sort of comments do we have? Let's get caught up on comments real quick.
Orange Slots Bald Army.
Arnie
This
Slots Bald Armory. We're just going to call this Al. Says Jonathan Taylor wearing the helmet cap in preseason game today. I saw a few players doing that.
Yep.
Whatever. I mean, do what you want. That doesn't bother me either which way. I don't care.
I hate
Joe Milton had put on a show in the Patriots' first pregame. Bo Nix looked great as well for Denver today. See, look, he put on a show. He didn't put on a show. He didn't look very good. Again, against better opponents, he gets absolutely exploited on that. And Bo Nix, again, tough to say when you're playing against shitty opponents. That's all.
All I'm going to say is it's the first preseason game. Just
yes,
there's a lot of preseason all pros.
Kenny Pickett looked great preseason all last year too. Remember
when the bullets start flying, it's a little bit different.
Mm-hmm. And Al says here, Brock Bowers has been unguardable at training camp for the Raiders. Yeah, I think Brock Bowers. There's a reason why Brock Bowers is a fantastic tight end. Simple as that. And then Man United is to build a new $2 billion stadium, and they're leaving Old Trafford. Will the new stadium be called New Trafford? I don't know what's going to be called.
They're going to need to win something to raise those kind of funds.
The Glazers are freaking loaded. Doesn't matter, So,
but they put the team up for sale, have they not?
Yeah, but they're already in the process of building. So, for right now, they're able to do that with no problem. And here's the thing: Man United is globally known. Same way like Real Madrid's globally known, Barcelona's globally known. They're on a global stage, with a very few select teams. Freedom Fund Adventure says here, I got $5 that says SunX is sitting in the dark and still feeling last night. Drink your electrolytes, kid.
He stayed over our house last night.
Oh, he couldn't even make it home. Here you go. Al says here, Arnie, he's got Liverpool looking damn good in preseason, boys. Undefeated in a handful of games against sides like Sevilla, Arsenal, Man United, and Real Betis.
It's exhibition.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, Carolina Hurricanes are retiring Eric Stahl's number 12.
He's still playing, is he not?
Yeah, maybe he retired. I don't know.
No, I think they re-signed him. I don't think he's going anywhere. Why would you retire a guy's number while he's still playing?
Here, Grand Prix, this one.
Okay. Al Monroe once again says the English Premier League has spent over $1.1 billion in transfer this summer, 5 times more than La Liga. Chelsea has 8 active goalkeepers on their senior roster.
Yeah, a lot.
I do want to touch on that real quick, X, if you could just pop that back up.
Okay, really quickly, just give you an answer. Eric Stahl, 39-year-old forward, he did sign a ceremonial contract to retire with the Hurricanes. Okay. He played 12 of his 18 seasons with them, and they were going to retire his jersey, number 12, on January the 12th when they're going to host the Anaheim Ducks.
Okay, to me, I don't think he was good enough to get his number retired. Sorry.
They don't have anybody to retire numbers in Carolina just quite yet, Grumpy. But go ahead.
Yeah, that's right. You got to win. You got to win to retire some numbers. Sorry. About this $1.1 billion. Okay, so they spend more than 5 times more than La Liga. But you know what they don't do? They don't win Champions League.
The top tier talent in La Liga is better, I'd say, than the EPL. But EPL top to bottom is a much tougher league than La Liga.
I think it's more balanced. Your top teams. I think there's more teams at the top in the Premier League than there are in La Liga.
But the top teams in La Liga are the top teams in the world.
I think
there's three teams that are really good in La Liga. That's it.
Okay. I'll say that Real Madrid is head and shoulders the best team in La Liga, and I think Man City is head and shoulders the best team in the Premier League.
Yep.
I think Barca's okay. I think Atletico could actually play in the Premier League and play well, just by the way that Simeone's style is. I think they'd fit in well there.
But I'm just saying, there's 3 real teams in La Liga, right? I don't consider Sevilla in the same class as Barcelona, Real,
and
Atletico.
Girona was really good last year, though.
Overall, they're not in the same playing field, right? Those 3 teams are head over heels over everything else, right? The EPL. right? You'll have some years where the big six aren't as good as others, but guess what? The big six are the big six, right? It's still United, it's Liverpool, it's Chelsea, it's Arsenal.
It's not United. United has not been a good team for a lot of years now. They
won Euros like a few years ago.
I don't care. They're not in the same league as. I think they're in the mix for the middle of the pack with the La Liga teams. I don't think them. I think Arsenal's been very good the last few years. Liverpool, Man City, Tottenham is okay, I guess. Chelsea's nothing now. I mean, I think they're comparable. I do believe that top to bottom, English Premier League is better because they have more money to spend. But in the head-to-head competition, I'd pick the Spanish team to beat them every single time.
Yep. Got a comment here from Al saying the Chinese women's Olympic basketball team has a 7'3" 17-year-old on it. Holy shit. I mean, that's dominant, I assume.
Probably created her in the lab, too.
Here you go, Al Grumpy.
Kirby Smart met one-on-one with Rara Thomas on Tuesday. Rara has been dismissed from the team after child cruelty and battery arrest. I bet he'll be back.
I don't know. When you get dismissed from the team, usually that doesn't bode well to coming back.
Okay. Al once again says former Michigan State football coach Mel Tucker, we remember him, suing the university over his firing, seeking tens of millions of dollars. He should have kept his little Winky out of his little assistant. That's what he should have done. That's what got him in trouble.
Yep.
Keep your pee-pee in your pants, boys.
And he didn't perform. That's the other thing too, right? Like if he was performing, they seem to turn a blind eye because they really don't care. But you weren't performing, and they just were trying to find a way. How can we not pay this guy we gave a whole shit ton of money to when he is not performing on the football field and he's doing questionable things outside the football field?
Arnie Slot, that's Alex once again, says the new NFL kickoff rule: kicking team jumped offsides first time it happens and not called. What if this happens on a big play like a fumble recovery? Will it be called back? Well, I'm sure you can challenge that shit. I don't know.
No,
I hate the new kickoff rule. If you kick it out of the end zone on a fly, you get the ball to 30. If you drive it and have it
the ground and rolls, they get at the 25.
At the 20. At the 20.
Oh, that was the 25.
No, at the 20.
Okay.
I hate it. Everybody returns the ball to the 25.
Yep.
What the hell's the difference? Just start with the ball in the 25. Stop changing the rules. Why you need to change the rules?
It's eliminated onside kicks.
That's right. There are no such.
Well, you have to declare and make it known that you're looking.
So you've eliminated onside kicks.
Yes, essentially. Well, I mean, you could still kick it, but it takes away the element of surprise. There's none of that where it's like, oh, hey, we're coming out after half and we're up a touchdown, but we think, we've noticed that player A on this team continually just runs backwards and doesn't actually stay in his assignment, and we can exploit that. Well, no, it takes the complete, surprise in the game plan out of that. It's just dumb, in my opinion, utterly stupid.
I'm on the record hating the new kickoff thing.
I agree, Grump. Here you go, Al Grumpy.
On-looking Carolina Panthers fans at FanFest at Clemson Memorial Stadium nearly get hit with fireworks in the stands.
Yeah, I saw that. Yep.
Hold on, what? I'll pull.
Yeah, they misfired, and one of them went to the stands and exploded in the stands.
I'll tell you one thing. If you get fireworks, I mean, they blow appendages off. I mean, just look at 4th of July videos where people are drunk, drinking, and lighting fireworks. You blow appendages off. So, wow. I'll go ahead there, Grumpy. Next comment, though.
This is from Alex once again. Argentine and Man City's Julian Alvarez recorded 1 year and 10 days of playing straight. Well-deserved holiday for the now Atletico Madrid player.
Okay, yeah. He played in the Olympics, played Copa America, etc. So, yeah, he's good. I like him. I think he'll be successful at Atletico. For
the life of me, I don't understand why Man City let him go.
He
wanted to leave.
And guess what? They wanted to play Jack Grealish and split time. He said, that I don't want it. So he left.
He's better than Jack Grealish.
Again, that's Pep. So guess, you're doing their Pep.
But Pep's going to be the one more year and he's gone.
Okay, gotcha. So that's what you think until he gets paid. So, okay, Al says here, EPL clubs last season, Luton Town decides not to release a new kit for the upcoming season due to the success of the EPL kit, setting record highs for the club in sales last year. Hey, don't fix what's not broken, right? Michigan sign stealing scandal gotten them more interesting. Now, head coach Sharon Moore could face penalty and suspension for deleting, yes, I did see that, 52 text messages with Connor Stallions in October of 2023.
They say Harbaugh's under pressure too. That's why he left. He knew what was coming down. He went to the pros. He could have gone to the pros any number of the last few years.
Yep, but this just was like a little bit of a push and a shove, like, hey, time to leave.
Well, he made a shitload of money to leave, more than he was making in Michigan.
Yep.
Alex Monroe once again says, watch out for Barca this season. Hansi Flick has them doing cryotherapy and hard work on a daily routine to prepare for the upcoming season. Hard work beats talent with talent when talent doesn't work hard. They're not beating Real Madrid. Not happening. Not happening.
Okay, you go, Al Grumpy.
Trophy hits a power line in open top bus parade for lower league Paraguayan team.
Yeah, they were holding the trophy up and they're celebrating and caught the power line. So yeah, it was kind of funny to watch there.
Yeah.
Novak Djokovic has officially won everything as a solo tennis player. He wins gold at the Olympics, the best to ever do it. No, I'm sorry, Djokovic is not better than Federer in his prime.
I will say that Federer, when they put tennis as an Olympic sport, he was like 35, 36 at the time. If it had been, when he was 28 or 29, like it was for Djokovic, he would have won some of those. I think there was one time that they had the Olympics when he was still playing competitive.
Okay. If Federer was playing against a prime Rafael Nadal his entire career, Djokovic is younger. So again, he played a little bit against them in their prime, but not as often. I mean, Federer and Nadal were in the prime of their career facing each other every single season. And Djokovic was an afterthought in the younger years. And once those two guys aged out and got into their 30s, well, Djokovic was still in his mid-20s and he was able to start cleaning up because tennis is a young man's sport.
It is, but you can't minimize how good Djokovic is. He's
I like Djokovic. I like him. I like him as a person, but not as good as Federer, in my opinion. Freedom, fun, and adventure, Grump.
Okay, there was another comment that you pulled out. Somebody signed for Wolverhampton. Full
Krug, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good deal. He was a big part of the success for Borussia Dortmund last year.
He played well for the German international team too.
Yep.
He sucks.
Freedom Front Bench says, Grumpy, last night, O gave TJ some Tony Robbins level motivation, and TJ accepted it into his sound and even said, you're right, I can do better. And you cut him off and gave him an excuse. He went from polo to tank.
Yeah, back to the tank tops. There it is. Okay.
He also, Freedom Fan Adventure also adds, I don't understand the new kickoff rules in the NFL yet. Yeah.
Nobody does.
Why do you want to change something that's been in place for over 100 years?
At this point, just get rid of the kickoffs.
Stupid.
I mean, that's where you've left it.
Alex Monroe says, Harry Kane won a trophy in Tottenham Stadium as Bayern Munich's captain and refused to lift the trophy, respect to the Spurs legend. What trophy?
It's a friendlies competition. Okay, they played one game there and then one game in Wembley. It's just a friendlies, doesn't count. Not a trophy, not a real trophy, fake.
Alex also says, NFL announces the stadiums will use facial recognition software to verify identity of fans entering stadiums. That's trouble.
Yep,
that's trouble. Watch out for AI. I'm telling you, watch out for Al, people. Watch out for it.
They're doing that. If they're doing that in NFL games, what are they doing in our?
They're doing it in real life too.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Rusty Spooner says here, Jets backup quarterback look good. Beasley and Martinez. Well, again, the only way that team is successful this year is if you've got Aaron Rodgers healthy. That's simple. Freedom Fun Adventure says here, Grumpy, that Australian break dancer in the Olympics. You told me that Son X's ex-girlfriend who dumped him and broke his heart dies. Your family still misses her. Fiance Y.
Your family still miss her. Fiance Y seems like an upgrade. No, it was the same thing. I made a mistake.
Okay.
So confused.
Here you go. Al says here, I didn't get that either, but Grumpy must have known. Milton has talent. He has the arm and the legs. If he could become more accurate, I don't know why you're downplaying him. May have a quarterback controversy on your head. Oh, fuck.
He doesn't have a brain. He can't read the field. That's the biggest issue. That's his biggest issue. It's not about – you can be a really successful quarterback if you can think the game. Things move fast. That was his problem in Tennessee. Struggled with that. He still struggles with it, doing his progressions and reads. Just does.
Yep.
Gungun says, will Rodgers remain healthy? I think so. Son X. What is the secret to becoming so wealthy?
Still trying to figure that out myself.
Oh, good one, X. I like it.
What can the Mets do to make us all proud? Is Phil Fax part of the in crowd?
No,
You know,
he's not part of the in crowd.
no, and the Mets need to win a World Series. That would make me proud. Freedom, fun, and adventure, Grumpy.
I won't watch the Olympics do their anti-Christian, pro-pedo, pro-commie agenda. Florida Gators, including Katie Ledecky, have more medals than most countries. We are small town, but world-class athletes.
There you go. And here you go, Al Grumpy.
Are we going to discuss Holland not scoring in a 7th straight final without a goal involvement? Big game Erling stepping up again. He's not playing against Celtic anymore. Here's the thing. Maybe it's the fact that he plays for that perennial choker Man City. Because if
They did win the Community Shield, though.
Whoop-de-doo. If he played on Real Madrid, he'd be scoring goals all the time. They're better. They're better.
All righty. Continuing along here, we got Goon Grump.
I wish Grumpy was on the upcoming presidential ballot. It would absolutely cleanse our palate. I agree.
Thank you. Freedom, fun, adventure, Grump.
Sunex, isn't the truth about the nice polo you gave to TJ was that you didn't buy it? Fiance Wise family gave it to you, and then you gave it to TJ. No worries. The Manscaped he gave you was free.
No, I did buy it for him.
I thought
He
you
bought
did.
it for himself originally, but it became mine.
Okay. Alex
I don't care. It's a nice shirt. Thank you.
Ayuk is absolutely San Francisco's #1 wide receiver. What are you guys smoking? McCaffrey, obviously the #1 weapon.
Yep.
They want a playoff game with Debo, even though I know you all love him.
They want to play
without Debo. I think Debo is a better football player than Brandon Ayuk. Just like I think Christian McCaffrey is probably the best football player today playing.
Yep.
Okay. Continuing along here. Al Grumpy.
What if KC gets CeeDee Lamb? Look out. Yikes. He's gonna want to get paid so much freaking
have
money.
the cap space to do that.
Yeah, that's the problem when you have a quarterback and a tight end who make ridiculous sums of money. And
How long until Patrick Mahomes wants to restructure and get paid more dollars?
And here's the thing: if you're Kansas City, how do you say no?
How is he not the highest? He's the best quarterback in the NFL right now. And if he says, "Yeah, I want more money than Jordan Love's getting paid," we're going to say no.
Right.
No, you're not as good as him.
They've restructured him a couple of times. Eventually, you can't kick that can down the road anymore. You're going to have to open up the wallet and just start, okay, we're going to re-sign a whole new deal. I don't know. Like I said, he's still got years to go. But like I said, if he goes in and they say, hey, partner, that's what he'd have to say, right? You're in it for the long fall with him.
He says, Grumpy, why do all the solo albums by Led Zeppelin members stink to high heavens? TJ, what do you usually order at, what is this?
A delicatessen.
What the hell is a delicatessen?
Oh, God. A deli.
Deli? Oh, fuck. A deli.
Oh.
I get a hoagie. I get a hoagie sandwich. That simple at a deli. I get like a hoagie with meat, a warm. I like cheese on it. But hey, a little meatball sub isn't bad either from a deli.
I'm going to say that about Zeppelin. I thought that some of Robert Plant's albums were okay. I thought they were pretty good. They're not Zeppelin albums. That's where they suffer. They're not Zeppelin albums because they play different music. Gungun says, whatever happened to D-Cut? Did he fly away on a spaceship like Jabba the Hutt? Don't know. He likes Lou Lamoriello. We don't. I think that's the biggest problem. Freedom Adventure says, Islanders have many left defense prospects who will have NHL careers. They lack right-handed defensemen. They should determine who priorities are and start using the others to make acquisitions.
Yeah, they just need to blow it up. That's
Freedom
all.
Says, Lions, a very talented nose tackle for the Florida Gators, would have thrown TJ out of the way as easily as TJ does a Snickers bar wrapper. Actually had his bone break through the skin during a scrimmage yesterday. Yeah, those compound fractures are trouble.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about that. The guy can't even go out there without snapping bones in half. I
think
right.
Freedom Fund Event says, SunX, if your entire retirement fund was depending on you picking a winner of a fight between TJ and Anders Lee, 6'3", 235, who are you betting on?
I'd probably pick TJ.
That's smart. There it is.
Why would you pick TJ? I'm interested in that because he
I don't know.
outweighs him by so much.
Yeah.
Look at you. Carl.
James Farrell says, "You guys like the portal on the spot of the ball instead of using the change."
Chains. Are you talking about like
they have
where the line of scrimmage is?
Yeah, no, I like the chains. I
Yeah.
don't like that. Sorry, I don't like it. And how long does it take? Maybe the spot. They should put chips in the ball on both sides of the ball and see where the ball actually lands. That's what they should do. Because the spotting is pretty terrible. Freedom Fun Red says, "Have you guys seen that crazy Australian break
dancer?
Break dancer, yeah.
Yeah, I did. I would put it up on the show, but it would immediately get it removed off of YouTube. And seeing that that's the only platform that we're streaming the show to now, we're going to probably avoid doing that. Okay. James F.
TJ, can you put up a video of Johnny Weir was wearing what he was wearing at the Summer Olympics?
I can put a picture, but that is it. I can't put a video, but I'll
put up a picture. Freedom Fun Red says, "Grumpy, I must admit TB12 seems like a winner, but all his women are not on his level. What gives? Dan Marino's best arm, release, and pocket presence you ever saw. I'll tell you what, Namath was right up there too. Maybe even better than Marino all that was. And about the women, I mean, he was married to that man for a long time, and the other ones he was just floating around town with. Who knows? Alex Monroe says, Mahomes has already been taking less money to free up cap space. He's not been taking less money. Absolutely not. You're wrong. Kelsey would likely do the same thing to get an extra players. You're wrong again. Hollywood Brown is close to Lamb too. No, he's not. And he's going to miss quite a bit of the season with a dislocated.
Jesus Christ.
Alex, that whole post was wrong. Drew says, TJ Grumpy, hi. I won't be able to make the podcast after this if you didn't go over my list because Rob Taub has an IQ less than room temperature.
That is true. He does have a miserably small IQ, and I've talked with him briefly about Islanders hockey. This is Johnny Weir. Like, what the fuck is this?
He's a clown.
It's like he's got like feathers come out of his neck.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan. He's got butterflies in his hair. Nothing about it. Anyways, I wouldn't be caught dead wearing that outside the house. Anyway,
I wouldn't be caught dead watching that show anymore.
Okay,
and
cool.
I didn't watch it.
Cool. That's good. Alrighty, moving along. We got a few to cover here. Now,
what was Drew saying about Rob?
I've got it. Don't worry, Grumpy. We've got it. Don't you worry, Grumpy. I have that teed up for the show. Again, all the prep work I've got it teed up. Want to put this up here on screen. Tell me what you guys notice about this. And next, I want you to stay quiet at first. I want you to stay quiet at first, Grumpy. I want to get your opinion on this, Grumpy. Grumpy, did you happen to notice anything about that?
It looks like he's got a .com thing or something on the back of his jersey.
Well, they do that too. They have their Twitter handles as their they do have the Twitter handles on the back of their jerseys. Colorado. I want you to tell me if you notice something about the throw.
It looked like
the throw is incomplete.
It's edited.
It's edited. It's an incomplete throw that he threw behind the receiver. And now this obviously, and they cut over to it like, oh, look at this. He made an amazing catch for a touchdown. They're like using selective editing in order to do that. And how can you figure that out? Well, just look even where the look where the yardage is. Look at the yard marker here for the 10 yards. Well, where is it here? Well, it's about, I don't know. It looks like first maybe at the 10-yard line where it is here. But look at this. They're throwing the ball from, I don't know, about 30 yards out.
Maybe they lost a lot of yardage on penalties.
Yeah, well, again, they're still using.
I didn't see him drop the ball.
Okay, it's designed to be where it's zoomed out. There's a reason why they're not zooming in on any of this shit. It's because the ball was thrown behind it. It's stitched. It's edited to where he didn't hit anybody in stride, but they wanted to make it look like, hey, oh, look at this, man. Oh, we just happened to cut angles and look at this amazing catch. We're doing so well in preseason. That's what they're looking to shoot for here. It's obviously
Colorado's going to suck, and this could be Deion Sanders' last year there.
I hope it is. Simple as that. So want to put that up there real quick. Something that I thought was interesting, Grumpy. You're talking about Eli Manning earlier. Let's look at this. Is Eli Manning a Hall of Famer?
The question that I saw being asked a lot on social media yesterday was, is Eli Manning a Hall of Famer? Well, allow me to answer that. He's a mortal lock. And you are allowed to think whatever you want about how good he was. That is subjective. But the only fair way to measure a career is to look objectively at what a player accomplished. So let's do that. Eli Manning is one of 5 players to win multiple Super Bowl MVPs. The others are all football royalty: Montana, Brady, Bradshaw, and Starr. Eli won more playoff games than Steve Young or Jim Kelly. He won more road playoff games than his brother did, or than Brady, or than Brett Favre. In fact, he beat Favre and Aaron Rodgers both in playoff games at Lambeau Field. That's 2 of the 5 playoff games the Packers have ever lost in that building. And then, of course, Eli beat Brady, the GOAT, twice in the Super Bowl and played great in both. In fact, during the Giants' 2 championship runs under Eli, he threw 15 touchdowns and 2 picks in the playoffs. This is the 100th season of pro football, and in that time, a total of 7 quarterbacks have thrown more touchdowns and 6 have thrown for more yards. That's ever. And not many more have been the faces of a franchise in the nation's meanest media market and managed that as gracefully as this guy did. So if this is indeed the beginning of the end of Eli, he deserves a respectful tip of the cap, and he can book the flights right now if he wants to, round trip to Canton, Ohio, in exactly 5 years.
So that was originally what was said as soon as Eli had retired. Now, I think it's been 5 years, or it's coming up on the 5th year since his retirement. So that's why it's making the rounds again. Eli will be a first ballot Hall of Famer. I don't think he's deserving of it, though. I mean, his record as a quarterback was completely average.
What's Greeny, right? And this guy's named Greenbaum. What's his name?
I don't know, Grump.
Okay. Mike
Greenberg.
Okay. He made a mistake. Jim Plunkett won 2 Super Bowls. He's not in the Hall of Fame with the Oakland Raiders. So I'm like, yeah, dude, you don't have your facts straight, first of all. Is Eli Manning a Hall of Famer? No, he's not. He's in my book, he's absolutely not. You could say Joe Namath should not be a Hall of Famer. He got in, but again, the game was played so differently back in the day, right?
I couldn't care less about the team struggling.
Joe Namath can't care less about your opinion on whether he should be in the Hall of Fame or not.
Okay, but I'm just saying he's in the Hall of Fame because he won the guarantee game. That carries weight. He was injured a lot of his career. He was a way better player than Eli Manning. They called their own plays back then. Like I said, totally different game than it is today. I don't think Eli's a Hall of Fame talent. He benefited from beating the Patriots twice. That's it. He was never great in the 2 Super Bowls. He was not. They had the helmet catch and the Manningham catch. Those were not great thrown balls. The Manningham catch was okay, but that's why they won. It wasn't that anything that he did. It was players around him who made big plays. There's a difference.
Okay. I think that he's not deserving, but
he will make it, though.
Here's the thing. His name carries a lot of weight. That is absolutely important when they talk about it. He's part of the media, and he's now part of the media on that side. So he absolutely will be a first ballot Hall of Famer at this point.
And he's a Manning, which helps too.
The name helps. Yep.
Freedom Fun Adventure says, Son X, you just lost your retirement, kid. Son X and TJ, who are your favorite athletes when growing up, other than Piazza? TJ, was there an offensive lineman you wanted to emulate?
No. I like Dominic Hasek. That was probably my favorite. My other favorite athlete growing up was Dominic Hasek and Mike Piazza.
Jeter was my favorite.
There you go.
There it is.
Must
be Derek there.
Oh, Derek Monroe says, USA, you got to create a new name every time, Derek. Come on. Be like your brother. Don't mail it in. USA men's basketball Avengers win a gold medal in what could possibly be LeBron, Curry, Durant, and Davis's final Olympics run. Be thankful we got to witness a special group together, fellas. I didn't watch one freaking game. And I rooted against them. I was rooting for Serbia. Freedom Fun Adventure says, oh my God,
others.
How freaking weak. Colorado should be embarrassed. By the way, Philosophy Sanders accused of smacking 5-star freshman Cormani McClain, and McClain telling him after he will kill him. McClain is now an alligator.
A Florida Gator. There it is.
Okay. Sorry. Freedom Fund Adventure says, remember when Michael Irvin and Deion Sanders were doing the Christian scam? They were touring the country doing events for Christians. What frauds? I don't remember that. I'll be honest with you. Drew says, okay, never mind. I'm officially back. Okay. Arnie Slot, this is Alex Monroe, says, Mahomes is doing the same shit Brady did when they got Randy Moss. You just didn't want to admit it. It's okay. Denial takes time. We get it. Mahomes easily the best quarterback in the NFL, but his contract won't say that. No, he's not taking less money. He's making $50 million a year. Brady never got paid more than 25. Never.
Yep.
I mean, he's making his money. But what I'm saying is, if you told me that he wanted $75 million, the Chiefs would say, okay, because he's absolutely worth that. He's the best quarterback in the league right now, period. End sentence, period. James Farrell says if Eli is in, then Jim Plunkett is in. Exactly. And Jim Plunkett's not getting in the Hall of Fame. He won 2 Super Bowls. So, he's Eli. He's the Manning. And they beat the Patriots. Beat the undefeated Patriots, the big one.
Here's Rob. This was his ranking. He said the real list of New York sports GMs and presidents, currently ranked 1 to 9. Brian Cashman, number 1. Chris Drury, number 2. Lou Lamoriello, number 3. Leon Rose, number 4. Tom Fitzgerald, 5. Joe Shane, 6. Joe Douglas, 7. Davis Stearns, number 8. And then Sean Marks, number 9. What are your thoughts on this list? Obviously, again, like Cashman, way too high. Lou Lamoriello, way too high.
Cashman's been there 30 years. They've won 1 title since they won in 2009. He's been there. Think about that. If the old man was still alive, he'd be gone. Wouldn't even have this conversation. Chris Drury, what the hell has he won? Lamoriello, what the hell has he won with the Islanders? Leon Rose, it's the Knicks. Tom Fitzgerald, okay, I'd say he's a better builder of teams than all those other guys. They don't have the money. Joe Shane, I think he is a good GM. I think the Giants were such a dumpster fire that they had a lot of work to do. I didn't like what he did with Daniel Jones. Joe Douglas, if the Jets win the Super Bowl this year, Joe Douglas goes right to the top of that list, right?
I think Joe Douglas is so much higher. I think Joe Douglas is like number 2 or 3.
That's what I was going to say. Number 2. I was going to say number 2. Davis Stearns with the Mets. Okay, whatever. And Sean Marks, I guess he's with the Brooklyn Nets. Who cares? I'm just saying that's a pretty sad list. Now, there's reasons why New York franchises don't win anything. Look at their GMs.
Now, here's Drew's list. He revised it. Leon Rose, number 1. Tom Fitzgerald, number 2. Drury, number 3. Brian Cashman, number 4. Joe Shane. What is up with the hate for Joe Douglas there? Joe Douglas, number 6. Sean Marks, number 7. Davis Stearns, number 8. He did have Lou Lamoriello in or near the correct spot, dead last.
I don't think Lamoriello's dead last.
He's pretty close to it. He's probably 7.
I was going to say 6. I probably would put him at 6. But
fair enough.
I mean, only because he hasn't decimated the team yet. But he's on the way.
Here you go. Derek
Monroe says hockey fans must be down bad when America wins basketball gold every Summer Olympics because the hockey team can't do the same when it comes to wintertime.
Ooh, shots been fired.
Okay.
I mean, basketball is a totally American
It's an American sport, and we fucking barely honestly, we're so pathetic for all the big household names and the fantastic stars that are on this team and the greatest basketball players of all time. That's the team you roll out there, and those are the performances you get. You're barely squeaking by beating Serbia. No, thank you. We suck.
Serbia had a huge lead. Huge lead.
They blew it.
How many guys on Serbia? I mean, they got Jokic, right?
That's
Jokic,
it.
right? They have him. That's it.
That's
That's
the only guy I
it.
can name off the top of my head.
I made the mistake. I put it on for 5 minutes. I should have not because they were winning. As soon as I put them on US 1. The one thing I was glad that kid did not win the double in the 100-meter and the 200-meter. Then it comes out he's got COVID. Stop making an excuse for him. He lost.
You go. Yeah, Lyles. Here you go. James Farrell, Grump.
Jalen Brunson was named captain. Plus, he should have been on the USA Olympic team.
Well, Jason Tatum, I don't think he's clutch, but Jason Tatum was like multiple
He
times not even playing the court. And I'm like, he was fantastic last year. The Celtics just won the NBA championship, and here we are. And again, I like LeBron. I don't think he's clutch.
I don't think Jason Tatum is clutch.
I don't either. But anyway, it's just
He's soft. He's soft.
They had an easy road to the finals. A lot of the stars that they had to play against on their teams were out with injury.
Okay. Freedom Front Bench says, guys, the Isles should start selling right now and tank for LA native and elite talent James Higgins, a center and projected number 1 overall. How dumb are they to not get top talent and get eliminated in round 1?
I don't know what they're going to do. Here's the thing. If at the deadline they're not, cemented in, I do think they sell. And that's the only saving grace that we have. Milo Brownie said, Grumpy, if I were to jump on the football fan wagon, which team should I watch for some excitement?
Excitement. Probably Detroit, right?
I like Detroit. They're exciting. They go for it on fourth down a lot. They're their coach is unpredictable at times, which is always fun. It adds some craziness to it. Now
there's a lot of exciting teams. I mean, Kansas City's, I don't know if they're as exciting. I guess they're pretty exciting, Kansas City. And then you're looking at, you could say the Eagles are pretty exciting, but I go with Detroit. I kind of think Detroit's exciting because the coach is always going to do something stupid, which puts a game in peril every week. So that's kind of fun.
Okay, well, I do want to go ahead and talk about this before we start kind of ending things and closing off the show here today. The AL MVP race is heating up, obviously, between Bobby Witt Jr. and Aaron Judge. Now, not sure if you guys have had a chance to look at some of the numbers that both of these guys have put up this season. Been spectacular. Both of them have had great years, bounce back year, absolutely, for Bobby Witt Jr.
What do you mean? He was great last year, too. What the hell are you talking about? You're kidding me, right?
Not the standard that he had been playing at. Last year he hit 276. What are you talking about? 276.
He's only been in the league 3 years.
Yeah, he's hitting 347 right now.
He's only played 3 years in the league.
It was okay. The best year that Bobby Witt Jr. has ever recorded is this year. Is that better? You like that one better?
That's fine. He's only 24 years old.
And I think they're kind of blowing this a little bit out of proportion. I don't think there's any shot in hell that Bobby Witt Jr. wins the AL MVP. He's got 100 runs, right? He leads the MLB and he leads the AL in runs. He leads the AL in hits. He's got 22 homers. He's got 25 stolen bases, and he's hitting 347 now. Now, Aaron Judge, right? The power numbers are there. Now, he's been killing it as of recent as well. He had another homer today. He's hitting about I think he's hitting 324. He's got 42 homers, 105 RBIs. I don't know how many runs now he's got. The RBIs, I guess, have to be updated too. Only 5 stolen bases, but he's leading the AL in home runs, RBIs, on base percentage, slugging percentage, and OPS. It's got to be Aaron Judge at this point who wins, right?
Bobby Witt plays a premium position. I think that's the biggest thing, and he's not that far behind Aaron Judge in
20
all the other
homers.
categories.
20 homers.
He's a leadoff hitter. He bats leadoff.
I don't give a shit.
He's a true 5-tool player. Okay. Bobby Witt's really freaking good. I'm not saying he's going to win MVP. If they make playoffs, he should win MVP.
No fucking
Kansas City's not been a good team. This kid is phenomenal.
He's nowhere close to as good as Aaron Judge.
I totally disagree.
Okay.
They play 2 different spots. He's a shortstop he does everything. And I'm not saying that Aaron Judge is not playing great this year. He absolutely is. This kid doesn't miss any time year over year. Aaron Judge been a little brittle the last few years.
Okay, he's played 116 out of 118 games. So what are you smoking? Aaron Judge hasn't missed any time. He's played 116 games so far this year. Bobby Witt Jr. has the most games played right now in the AL at 118. So he's not like he's missing time, Aaron Judge, and you're looked at for this year.
He plays a tougher position. Would you not agree?
No.
Yes.
You don't think that Bobby Witt plays a tougher position to play than Aaron Judge?
No,
do you really say that out loud?
I don't give a shit about the defense. I care about what he's doing.
It matters.
It absolutely matters.
Is Bobby Witt Jr. winning a Gold Glove anytime soon? Answer that question is no.
I think he's right up there this year.
Oh,
he's really freaking good.
Captain of the defense is always the shortstop.
I'm going to tell you what. If he played New York, he'd win MVP. It's the fact that he plays in Kansas City that hurts him.
It's the fact that he hits only 22 freaking home runs in a season that hurts him. Another guy's going to have well over 50 home runs this season. This guy maybe hits 25 or 30 homers, and we're going to pretend like they're the same. One guy's killing the RBIs, and the other guy, think about it, for being a leadoff hitter, Aaron Judge is only like 0.02% off on the batting average compared to freaking Bobby Witt Jr. Aaron Judge is still hitting 325. No freaking.
Well, then he's hitting 22 points less. He's hitting
325. Well, no, again, 22 points less would mean the other guy's hitting 500.
He's hitting 347.
That's what I said. 0.22% off.
22 points. It's 22 points.
Yeah, I'll just say 0.22 off.
It's 22 points. Batting average is 300. 250 means you're 50 points below that.
0.22. So you could say 22 points. It's the same exact thing. Same thing, bro.
Don't be stupid. James Farrell says, let me tell you, the dream team would destroy LeBron USA team. Agreed.
Yes.
Agreed. Yep. Alex once again says, not saying Kansas City signs a long-term deal with CeeDee Lamb, but a couple of years with Kansas City having over $17 million in cap. I don't know what ISM
cap
means.
Space. Tooney, you had to restructure.
Could restructure his contract as well. Winning a three-peat is important. I don't think they're going to win a three-peat this year. No. I think it's too hard. I think there's too many outside things that get you when it comes to that. Drew says Jerry Jones is older than Christmas, correct? Not quite. I think he was like the third Christmas. He was born the third Christmas. Oh, boy. Freedom Fun Event says, Milo Brownie, watch the Miami Dolphins, the most exciting offense in the NFL. I disagree.
It is kind of funny. Anytime you watch them, it's like, oh, man, you're on the edge of your seat if Tua gets hit, if he survives or not. James Farrell says here, the Yankees are 20 wins better than last year's team right now. Yeah, Aaron Judge is winning the AL MVP. The National League is likely going to be Shohei Ohtani. Yep, I agree. Ohtani's going to win the National League, and Aaron Judge is going to walk away with the AL MVP. See you later, Bobby Witt Jr. Drew says here, the Dolphins will be fun to watch until about week 10 when temperatures fall below 70 degrees.
That's fair. That's fair also.
Thanks there. I'm taking notes. Detroit and Miami. Oh, Miami. Okay. Yeah, their offense is good, though. Their offense is good.
Early in the year, their offense is pretty good.
Yes. Yes.
But since it gets a little chilly, Noodles can't make the throws.
Yes, Bobby Witt Jr. is younger than Aaron Judge here.
Only 9 years. Only 9 years younger.
Did you put on some baby weight too? Yeah.
Oh,
and then Drew L. Grumpy here.
Watching that Team USA basketball game made me so frustrated. They literally went off of their top talent. They were asking for France to win.
Yep. I'd had no problem if France beat them either.
Me neither.
Well, guys, let's wrap things up here today. Grumpy, Sunex, what do you want to say before we wrap up the show today?
I wanted to say for myself, what do I usually say? Gosh, I can't remember.
Love and laughter.
Love and laughter to everyone who listens and even those who don't, from TJ, the grumpy old man, and Son X.
And X, what do you want to say before we wrap things up here?
I want to thank everybody for coming out and listening as always, and the interaction in the comments. It's great, and we will see you guys next time.
Thank you so much, everybody, for listening to the show here today.
Why can't you do the full X? Why can't you do the full X? Why do you got to go like this? Why are you minimizing what X does?
Do this right here.
No, not that. No, you're jealous because he's got a little sign up thing that you don't have.
That's it. I'm jealous. Anyway, thank you so much, everybody, for listening to the show. We'll be live with you guys next Sunday between 7 and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you so much, Grumpy. Thank you so much, Son X, and thanks everybody for tuning into the show. Thank you again. We'll see you guys next Sunday.
Thank you.
My pleasure.